This is my cherry of the Rio Grande tree. I purchased this tree from a local nursery in June of 2019. Came in a large planter, as you see here. I'm not exactly sure how many gallons it is, but it measures about 24 inches wide by 18 inches tall. It's a mature tree that's about 10 to 15 years old. The trunk diameter is about 10 inches. When it was purchased, it still had a little fruit on it. I was able to harvest about a handful. They were all good size, a little smaller than a radish. The flavor was a little sweet with a slight tart flavor. The flesh was soft and juicy. I really enjoyed the flavor, so I'm hoping to get a good harvest this year. This is a self-fertile evergreen that grows outdoors in zones 9 to 11 and is hardy down to 20 degrees when mature. Its growth rate is listed as moderate and it may take up to 5 years to fruit. It can be grown in part shade but prefers full sun. The tree can reach a height of about 10 to 20 feet. It does make a good container tree, so if you live outside these growing zones, it can survive by bringing indoors during a frost. This tree is a Eugenia in the myrtle family. It is native to South Brazil. The fruit can be eaten fresh or used to make jams, jellies, or juices. From the research I've done, supposedly it only takes 3 weeks to go from flower to fruit for this tree. I have it growing in an area that gets 6+ hours of sunlight. It gets mostly morning sun in this area, and then it shades out by my house in the afternoon. I don't intend on leaving it here permanently. My plan is to eventually move it to my front yard where it will get full sun most of the day. I'm sure it will do better out there, but I'm not quite ready to move it just yet. Here it is in early October. The tree was looking good with lots of healthy looking leaves. By the second week in January, the tree had lost some leaves. The temperature in my area was in the mid-40s at night. The tree was doing well but had lost some leaves due to the cold nighttime temperature. By the end of January, the tree had put on new growth with an abundant amount of buds. I should note that in early October, after harvesting all the fruit, I did some very light pruning. I only cut off the tips of some of the taller branches. By late December, the tree started pushing out some of the growth you see here. As you can see here, some of the buds had begun to flower. I believe the light pruning after the harvest may have encouraged some of the budding you see. Just about every branch has heavy clusters of buds forming, just like this branch here. If I can get some pollinators to work on these flowers, I should have a pretty good crop. By the second week of February, the tree was still putting out new growth and buds. By this time, several more flowers were in bloom. It's a little difficult to see in this video, but there's a good amount of flowers in bloom. Flowers are all white, and they resemble those that you'll find on the Suriname cherry tree. Here's a close-up. Attractive looking flowers. Here's a few more. Here's a few in bloom, and if you look close below, you will see some buds that are close to opening. Here's a shot of the different stages. Here you see a bud completely closed. Here's another one that is just starting to open. This other one here is a bit more advanced and ready to bloom. And of course, this one here is in bloom. Here's another group showing the different stages. Here you can see just how many buds have formed on each branch. By late February, several flowers were in bloom. I noticed that there were no bees on any of the flowers. I decided to spray the flowers with a mixture of honey and water, 1 part honey to 3 parts water. I've used this technique to attract bees before. I'm sure it will get pollinated. As you can see here, there are already a few bees starting to show up. The honey and water mixture seems to be working. I'll keep spraying every other day until the flowers are gone. I'm sure a good portion of the flowers will get pollinated, so I'm hoping I'll get a good crop. I'll be sure to post an update video if and when I'm able to harvest some of the fruit. Well, that's it for the cherry of the Rio Grande. I'll be posting a video on my Cara orange tree soon. This is the tree I'm talking about. It was recently planted in this area. As you can see, it really likes it here. It has an abundant amount of buds. I'll be posting a video on how I planted it and what I did to prep this area for planting. This tree previously put out an abundant amount of flowers last season, although not as many as you see here. I'm hoping this year it will produce a better crop than last year, which in spite of the heavy blooms only managed to produce a handful of oranges. It was growing in a pot back then, so maybe this year, now that it's in the ground, it will do much better. If you search my channel, Zone 10A Backyard Orchard, you will find previously posted videos on some of these trees you see here. I have several videos on how some of these trees were planted and how the ground was prepped before planting them. I'll be posting follow-up videos on these trees as soon as they start to fruit. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. I have other fruit trees to plant in my backyard, and I intend to post videos as I complete those projects. If you'd like to follow along, please subscribe and click on the bell so you can get notifications as soon as I upload new videos. Well, until the next time, grow your own and happy gardening. Thank you for watching.